Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle. Me, your host, Joshua Smith. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday night. Sorry I didn't do a show this Tuesday. For those of you guys who follow us on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, you know that on my way home from the Georgia State Convention where we had a wild debate, lively presidential debate, I contracted in Atlanta in the DEI Five Guys Burgers and Fries. I contracted some serious foodborne illness that put me out of commission for about 36 hours minimum when I got home Sunday, and then by Tuesday I just wasn't feeling up to the task. I had to actually work on Tuesday, and it made me so weak. I hadn't had any water or food or anything for over 24 hours, and then I had to go work a 12-hour shift, and I just couldn't come home and do a show. So we didn't do a show. I apologize if you guys were hoping we'd do one on Tuesday, but hopefully we'll be back to doing them on this coming Tuesday. It may be rough because I'll be flying home from Timcast. I'll be on Timcast in real life for my third time on Monday evening, 7:30. I think they do 8 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern to 10 o'clock, and then they do an after-hour show for an hour till 11. It's going to be a good time.
Death Squad next week?
Huh?
We getting the Death Squad next week?
What do you mean?
The Nephilim Death Squad?
I did talk to Top a little bit about that this weekend, and so hopefully we can get the Nephilim Death Squad both on next week. I love those guys. They're fucking cool. Of course, Top is the homie, one of my best friends for life, as our guest tonight, but also I made a new great friend in his co-host on that show, Raisin, who's great as well. His name's not actually Raisin. He goes by Raven, but he picked that nickname. So now we call him Raisin, because you're not allowed to pick your own nickname. That's gay. That's utterly gay.
I wish I could pick my nickname.
Yeah, if you could pick.
Well, actually, it's Ian. It's much better than my nickname growing up.
Yeah, well, we did like a 3.5 hour Power Hour live episode the night before the debate. And had a lot of drinks, and I told him, well, if your nickname's Raven, you have to call me Nighthawk. That's my nickname, which is not true. Don't ever call me fucking Nighthawk.
Nightcock, yeah.
Yeah. We got a great show for you guys tonight. Of course, before we get too far into this thing, go check out our wonderful sponsor, toplobster.com. The man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break Cycle, where you can get all kinds of great hats, backpacks, hoodies. I think he's got all kinds of shit. He's got the Break the Cycle custom shirt that you see my co-host Ryan wearing tonight. You can get that stuff for a 10% discount by using BTC at the checkout line, or you can join the Patreon, subscribe, start, become a member of the YouTube channel under all of our videos by hitting the join link, or you can get into a private Discord server, mostly moderated by Ryan these days. I do pop in from time to time, but it's very few and far between right now. I've been so busy. And you can get all of Top's new gear if he ever pops in. Up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at like a 30% discount. So good stuff. And he does put out stuff regularly. We just need to get him in the chat. He puts it out.
Yeah.
So go check out Top. I love Top. I was very, very happy to get the opportunity to hang out with him this past weekend, and also our guest tonight. But before we check in with our guest, let's check in with my wonderful haired co-host, Mr. Ryan Kurt. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. A couple hours ago, I got an email that said I'm moving forward in the interview process for a job, so that's exciting. And then I also need you guys to give me some yep cocks in the chat.
Give this man some yep cocks. He's asking nicely for some yep cocks in the chat. He just wants one or two. Guys, we got quite possibly one of the greatest podcast goats of all time tonight on the show with us. Been a good friend of mine. He's been on the show several times. I've hung out with him in person. In fact, I slept on his very uncomfortable leather couch for about a week once in Boston.
What the hell is an electric
couch?
Oh,
we'll get into it, dude. We'll get into it. I promise you. It's
like the electric chair.
It's a very expensive couch. He told me repeatedly. Have you ever seen the movie Salt Lake City Punk?
No.
Okay, so there's Salt Lake City Punk. It's about all these punks in Salt Lake City and not selling out and all this shit. And they hang out with this like older German guy that's super rich, and he's like, they go over to his house and he's showing him a laser disc. He's like, there's a movie on there. That's how our guest tonight was about his couch. He's like, look at this. It's got lights in it. It's electric. It plugs into the wall. You know what I mean? But it was like all reclined, just to however you perfectly want. It was like the orthopedic bed of couches. You know what I mean? Except not comfortable to sleep on at all. especially when you've been drinking in Boston and like Southie and like the basement bars all night long, and then you have to ride the fucking A train until 2 o'clock in the morning. Not fun, or whatever the hell they call that. But our guest tonight is one of the co-hosts of Tower Power Hour. He's also a candidate for the Libertarian Party presidential race this year, which, by the way, he has described the LP as the loser party. He hates you all, but he is running the most efficient campaign. He is Mr. Toad, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain, man. I'm still reeling from this weekend. It was a lot of fun. That was definitely by far the most lively debate we've had of all. We've had several debates around the country so far, and I'll tell you what, dude. Like I sat right next to Toad purposely. Like I was like, all right, I got to sit next to Toad because he's gonna pump me up. This guy's gonna pump my nads, right? Like he's gonna get me. Like he's gonna make everything that I say look like the moderate position, anyways. So like I could just go as hard as I want because nothing that I do is gonna be as hard as Toad. And I was right. And the second he gets on the stage, he takes his shoe. He's sitting next to me. And he's taking his shoes off, taking his socks off. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a go time. It's about to get live. So
that's why you got ill.
No. So what were you thinking with taking your shoes off? What was up with that absolute stunning power move?
There were multiple things that went into that. At first, I was told that the debate was going to be standing. It was going to require standing the whole time. So I said, well, my shoes that I was wearing, they're like fairly new. So I'm like, that's not going to help me. My feet are going to hurt. But I'm also the youngest of all of you old fucks.
The
so
youngest, but you look the oldest.
Yeah. I look older than Hornberger, obviously. I was like, this is going to be an advantage to me, but I'm going to make it even more of an advantage by being more comfortable, and I'm going to take my shoes off. And then it went through my mind, but that's also a power move, which is done, not many people know this, by James Holzhauer, Jeopardy champion, Jeopardy phenomenon.
Yes, yep.
He's known for taking off his shoes in the green room to intimidate his opponents. So I was like, that's settled. Like, that's what I'm going to do. Everything about this makes sense, so I'm going to do it.
Well, and so it's so funny because I got in a motorcycle accident last year. For those of you guys who don't remember, I was in a pretty brutal motorcycle accident, about 40 miles an hour, knocked me out, skid half my helmet off on the right side, really dusted up my hip. It still hurts right now. And it's been hurting for a long time. And we show up to this debate that they've told us ahead of time was going to be about 2.5 hours. It ended up being 3 hours. Longest debate I've ever been in, hands down. Well, as far as the presidential candidacy goes, of course, I did famously a 3-hour debate against Larkin Rose a couple years ago for Anarchapulco. But and so they're like, oh yeah, you're going to be standing in one spot for 2.5 hours, 3 hours on stage with these hot ass lights beaming in your face. And I was like, I bitched about it. I didn't bitch about it, but I was like, could we get chairs? That'd be kind of cool if we could have chairs at least. You know what I mean? So I was the reason why we got to sit down, and he just went ahead and said, fuck it, let's do the shoeless thing anyways. And it worked. It played out. I mean, it didn't take away from your arguments at all.
Well, thank you. It probably added to my arguments, to be honest.
I mean, his whole arguments for calling everybody else faggots.
Well, and I think the best part about this was the opening and closing of Toad's arguments here basically were, I'm running the most efficient campaign because I think you're a bunch of losers and I'm not raising any money and I'm still here. I think your party sucks. Literally said he said, does everyone here know what the LP stands for? Mm-hmm. He said loser party because it's a party of losers. You guys are all just constantly losing. That's what he said. It was hilarious. For me, it's like, I think the people in the Libertarian Party need that truth bomb in their face. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like one of those things because I've even been a victim of this, of being in this kind of bubble of Libertarian Party people when I'm working in politics, where everyone's like, yeah, that was a win. Yeah, we got 0.8%. That was a win. Right. And like, no, that wasn't a win. It's not a win. Right. But we get in this loser mentality where we're like, yeah, man, we're winning, but we're not really winning shit. We got a bunch of dog catchers and one county supervisor and one state rep ever in the history of the party. And it's not good. It's not a good thing.
And you just go to one of these LP events, these LP conventions, you just look at the people there and you're like, this is a bunch of fucking losers, dude.
Yeah, this one guy's really mad at me right now because there were a couple people. We got really deep into the COVID vaccine debate. I think we spent about 45 minutes on it, right? And I was able to really trigger Chase really bad through some of that.
That was awesome.
And I really enjoyed that. Of course, the debate moderator, Clint Russell, and Brad Binkley, who's amazing as well. were able to trigger Jacob Hornberger. And, Toad being the wonderful guy that he is, he helped in the triggering of Jacob Hornberger. And it was probably one of the greatest triggerings I've ever seen in my life, because, there was a time where a lot of libertarians held Hornberger on this pedestal, right? And like, I've found myself deviating from him recently over his statements on open borders. I'm not an open borders guy anymore. I've kind of grown up in that vein. I think it's a wildly unpopular idea, if nothing else, but also, I think that we've come to a point in this specific society where if we just continue to let 6 to 8 million people flood over every single year, it's going to be unsustainable. Right. Yeah. And so like, I've kind of had to come to terms with that, as far as like, I want my anarchy to be my North Star, but maybe I deviate on that issue, and I deviate on the, let parents decide on whether they should be allowed to abuse their children through mutilative surgeries, and also the idea that, killing a child in the womb is just totally okay and not at all murder. So like, I deviate with, the standard libertarian on those issues. I'm sure you do too, Toad, for the most part.
I agree with you on all those issues, and I don't even think it's a deviation from libertarianism.
I don't think so either.
If you disagree with us, I think you are deviating. You are a deviant if you disagree with any of those positions. But I think it is perfectly in line with libertarianism to oppose open borders, because open borders is a government program. It is just the government having control of the border situation, being like, we're going to just allow everybody in and not stop anybody from doing so. And I mean, it's the Hoppian argument here, where Hans Hermann Hoppe lays out pretty nicely in Democracy, the God That Failed, as unfortunately our opponent Rechtenwald points out.
I know, he's the only one that pointed it out. Yeah.
He's correct about it. Hoppe is correct about it.
Yes.
But Hoppe points out how that is not a voluntary transaction there. Like, it's not two people agreeing to exchange a good or anything like that. It's one person moving from point A to point B, despite the fact that maybe nobody even agrees with that happening. So there's no like other side of that transaction. It's not a voluntary transaction.
Right. Yeah, and I agree, and I think my views on immigration have changed a lot with actually my my journey into Hans Hermann Hoppe's literature, actually, because famously, if 2 or 3 years ago, I went on the Fakertarians podcast, and they asked me, well, what do you think about Hans Hermann Hoppe and his racist blah, blah, blah? And I was like, well, I haven't really read enough Hans Hermann Hoppe to give you my point of view on that. And Dave Smith once was like, can you believe this guy hasn't even read Hans Hermann Hoppe? And I'm like, yeah, but I've outread all of you guys I've literally read every single fucking paper that Murray Rothbard's ever written. Like, it's not like I was not well read. I just hadn't journeyed into Hoppe yet. I've read Human Action like 4 times. So it's right behind me right now. I've read it a million times.
I haven't read it, but it has just touched my penis.
Yeah.
There's just so much to read. Like, it's an unreasonable expectation that everybody's read.
No, and I should, I probably should have got into Hoppe earlier. Yeah. I just didn't, but and it was stupid.
I read 50 books a year, and
I read more than that for sure.
Yeah, and I've done 1 Hoppe book and like 2 Rothbard books.
And I think that Toad probably reads more than 50. You read a lot of books too, right?
50 a year, that might be pushing it. I don't know. It's probably not quite that high, especially now, but I've read like a decent amount. I've read like the major Rothbard works,
sure,
among other things, but not Human Action. Human Action is, you just look at it, it's just this gigantic tome. I'm like, this will make a good picture of it covering my penis because it's so huge, but I haven't read it yet.
I've read it 3 or 4 times, and that's not because I was like, oh, that was such a good book, I have to go back and reread this book, but because the first time you're not going to understand it all. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of information. So I've read it
that
and
Man, Economy, and State. I'm like,
that's a big one
I don't
too.
know.
That's a big one too.
Well, my foray into Rothbard was the Great Depression.
Oh, sure.
And
that's a good one.
That is so dense.
Yeah, it's a dense book, but
and that was one of my first libertarian adjacent books I read.
My first Rothbard book was For a New Liberty, and it literally like kicked the window open and said, you're never shutting this window again. I mean, it just really was like my ultimate like radicalizing moment was that book. So
yeah, I read that like 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mine was Anatomy of the State. I actually read For a New Liberty at some point after that.
Yeah, I probably should have done Anatomy first, but because it's only like 60 pages. But
I did Anatomy of the State with the Anarchist Handbook.
Okay, that's good. Anyways, the Libertarian Party of Georgia Convention. Let's get back to this. It was an absolute shit show, this debate. I believe that Jacob Hornberger completely destroyed any chance he had. Not like he had much of a chance to begin with. In fact, Toad brought up, rightly so, that we were mentioning sundowning, and he's like, by the way, isn't it past your bedtime, Jacob Hornberger? I was like, oh my God, dude. And so I even hopped in on the Hornberger hate and made sure that he knows that he keeps talking about how all of us were going to get 0 votes in the general election, and he hasn't even been able to get a single nomination in the party over the last 25 to 30 something years. So it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle colors that we're not going to say on the show because we might get kicked off. But
this was my introduction to Hornberger.
Oh geez, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so.
Oh boy. Well, it's crazy to me that he was the Mises Caucus representative in the previous election cycle, and like he's this bad now. Like I can't imagine that he was even actually good back then. I know I disagree with him on the border stuff the whole time, but I don't really know what his positions were back then. But it's like he's stuck in a time capsule in like 1990. Like none of his positions hold up at all in the modern day.
Yeah, well, and the thing about Jacob is that his biggest priority is ending Social Security, and like, I get that. Like,
and open borders. He's
and open borders.
That's the issue that defines my campaign. I'm like, you are so out of touch, dude.
No wonder you can't get the nomination.
He doesn't seem to engage with reality.
No, he doesn't at all.
You need to be able to we have this ideal that we're shooting for, but you still need to be able to be pragmatic and recognize that we're really far away from that. And not a lot that we're going to do is going to get us there very quickly. It's going to be hard. And so, kind of how we define borders, like the Hoppian sense of private how private property everywhere and all of that, that would be great. That's kind of what we're shooting for, but that's not the reality we live in now, and we need to engage with what is actually happening around us.
Well, further than that too, it's like, dude, his biggest knock on everyone on stage is that, oh, you guys just want to sundown Social Security and that's all you care about. It's like, first of all, bullshit, motherfucker. I've been telling you at every debate that I also want to end Social Security. I just talk more about Title 4D of Social Security because I believe that single title in the Social Security Act has led to more terrible shit in the United States than any other policy passed in the last 50 to 60 to 75 years, and that's because it literally subsidizes the federal government. The federal government's subsidizing states to separate families. We went from 1 in 60 children living in a fatherless home to 1 in 4. That's a big deal, dude. But hold on, Ryan. And so yeah, I get it. Like, talk about ending Social Security. I want to end Social Security too. I think pay out the retirees that have their life dependent on this, that they've paid into for years, and stop it for everybody else. Stop the tax immediately. Done. Over. And Rechtenwald was right when he said, is it going to hurt the state? Yeah, it's going to hurt the state. We want it to hurt the state. That's part of this.
And one thing Hornberger brought up was, how are you going to pay for it? I think there's a great way for the federal government to be able to pay for things. And that is, they own like 40% of the land of the United States.
Oh, it's more than that. The BLM owns a lot, dude.
Well, no.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter, man. They're
no, they only own 2 houses.
But they're
combined between all of them, 2 owners of houses.
But there's so much land in the United States that is federal land.
Yeah, Bureau of Land Management. I know. Yeah, that's what BLM is.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now you know.
We could.
You're welcome.
We could sell that off.
But also, Western Federal Lands also owns a ton of, the National Forest Park Services, National Forest Service. Like it's way more than 40%. I'd say it's closer, probably to 60%.
Yeah. And that was, I saw a map of it, and that's just me guesstimating based on eyeballing. But we could sell half of that and pay for that payout for Social Security.
And the problem is that if we sold half of that, we'd have to sell a lot of that to immigrants, because that's what the federal government does, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to sell half that land to China, which is what they've been doing with farmland and stuff like that. And so, like, should I be president, I'm going to say, look, foreign governments can't buy land in the United States anymore. Sorry, fuck off, dude. Like,
we sell it to U.S. citizens.
Yeah, exactly. Or, I mean, really, it should just be given to U.S. citizens, but we're talking about trying to pay people back for Social Security as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, so Hornberger is out of touch, dude, and wants to keep banging this drum about Social Security and saying that we don't want to end Social Security when we've all told him repeatedly, except for Chase, who does want to sundown Social Security, and Lars. Speaking of the Lars thing, this is something that has dawned on me several times in these debates, and I don't know why I haven't brought it up. You know, the libertarian has an image problem, like a terrible fucking degenerate libertine image problem where everybody that's on just barely right of center and further thinks that we're a bunch of, you know, drug addict, sex working, like anal sex having degenerates, bro. Like you know, like you're all
only
into
three people
you're
on
all
that stage. Fit
you're
the
all
bill.
into sodomy, and all you want to do is smoke meth and screw dudes and drink fucking, I don't know, whatever, right?
Yeah,
And
we're not
so-
all Chase here.
Right. And so we have this problem. This is an image problem, a bad image problem, right? And there's this like real big push by people like myself and of course Clint and Toad, and even, you know, some are using comedy, some are using like straight up brash, like in your face messaging, like all this shit, right? But the truth of the matter is that this push is to make people understand that real conservative principles live in libertarianism, that, you know, you don't have to support those things. And in fact, we don't have to normalize those things or, you know, destigmatize those things. You can actually stigmatize the fuck out of sex work and stigmatize the fuck out of drug use and stigmatize the fuck out of all of these terrible things, right, that we don't want in front of our children. And it's perfectly in line with libertarianism. But we have to break out of that mold, right, that people have set for us, like, you know, Vermin fucking Supreme and like some of these other people that have come around the party. And there's people in this party today that don't understand that image problem at all because they're looking to somebody like Lars Mapstead. Now, I never talk about this. I don't know why I haven't brought this up in the debate.
I forgot to bring this up. Too.
Yeah, I have
I'm
called him the
pissed about
porn
it.
king, right? Like I've been like, you're the porn king, but I don't think people understand to what extent I'm talking about when I say that. He's one of the founders of Adult Friend Finder, okay? If you're not familiar with Adult Friend Finder, it was the OG original cam model website, okay? He literally started the OnlyFans culture. And you want to make him our presidential candidate? You want to make that guy our presidential candidate? The guy who's going to just go out there and be like, yes, I'm the one who fucking lent to all of your daughters becoming sex workers, dude.
Uncharismatic.
Listen, he
Andrew
gave
Tate.
me
Worse.
he gave me years worth of entertainment, but he's not qualified to be the presidential candidate.
Oh man, it's, you know what I'm saying though, like we have this image
Yeah.
problem, and to fix the image problem, we're gonna put the guy who started the fucking OnlyFans culture in America as our presidential candidate. That's
and
a
he's using
terrible
that
idea.
money to fund his campaign. He's using the porn money.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
He
that's exactly what it is.
spent $500,000 on ads already.
Bro, he put thousands of dollars into ads for this fucking
Yeah.
free and fair elections
And
debate.
he-
Thousands of dollars in ads, and he just, I don't even know if he made it in. He may have made it in, but he
No.
just barely fucking made it in. No, they had like him and Chase had a big rush today over to like 12 to 14,000. They knocked Kennedy out.
Oh, when
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How?
when
I don't know.
did they when I
I can
checked
tell you
out
right now, dude.
okay when I checked it at work, it was supposedly closed. Because
No, so it's Claudia De La Cruz, Cornel West, Jill Stein, Peter Sonsky, Lars Mapstead, Chase Oliver are the top 6.
I don't even know who that first
In
woman
fact,
is.
Lars Mapstead jumped Chase.
Oh, I bet he
He
did.
was-
Chase probably enjoyed it.
he was like 4,000 votes behind Chase.
Yeah,
when I
dude.
checked.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like we know for a fact the socialists that are on there and Peter Sonsky for sure, no doubt. Peter Sonsky, they were all using the VoIP calls, right? Like they were utilizing those to send in multiple votes per person, and then after they let them get all those votes in, they stopped VoIP and wouldn't let people vote from VoIP anymore. So I was purposely like very clear to my supporters, like vote above board, vote once per phone per phone. If you have a kid's phone, you want them to vote, fine. You have a wife, you want her to vote, fine. But do not make up fake shit to vote for me. And we're still at like almost 9,000 votes. Okay, that's not bad. But we know these people are using VoIP and they cut it off. So even if like I was like at the end, like, well, let's go, everybody use VoIP real quick and try and get us up there. We couldn't do that. They cut everybody off after the top 4 had already used it repeatedly. So I couldn't even tell my supporters that were afraid to give their phone number to use a VoIP anymore. And a lot of my people were afraid to give a phone number to free and fair elections, which is hilarious, by the way, because these people they're not some scam company. They've been around for fucking 60 years. They don't blow you up at all. They only run these debates. In fact, all this voting was taking place on like a new blockchain technology. They're not even recording your data. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, they're not even recording your data to call you or anything. So it was like, I didn't want to try to explain that to libertarians because they don't give a fuck, right? Like, I'm not giving my phone number. Fine, that's fine, whatever. Don't vote. But at least at that point, I was able to say, yo, just use Google Voice. If you're gonna, just once, just vote for me once with Google Voice. Don't use your real phone number. At least I had the opportunity to do that. I couldn't even do that anymore after they let all those fucking VoIP numbers go through first, which was just stupid. But anyways, so Lars Mapstead is the guy who basically lended credence to the entire OnlyFans like whore culture that you see going on today.
Yeah, and he looks like a coomer.
He looks like a coomer. Yeah, absolutely. I think Lainey posted that earlier with all the names. That shit was hilarious.
Fat with a ponytail.
Yeah, and like a bald top with a ponytail, and even the fake Donald Trump impersonator came in and was like, "Great to see a member of Metallica here" at the end, which I thought was hilarious. So he can't be the guy, dude. Like, that can't be the guy. No. Like, he's the guy with all the money that's going to bus in people like Bill Weld did and Gary Johnson did in 2016. We have to watch out for that guy because he's going to bus people in, dude. He's got hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend. He's going to bus people into the convention that want to be delegates, and they're going to vote for him. The problem is that now it looks to most people on the outside like Chase and Lars are running together. I don't know if you've noticed that. They're sending out mailers that have both of them on there.
Do you think if
maybe they are?
If I told Lars I would be a delegate for him, that he would pay for me to go to the
convention? Yeah, it's possible. All right, everybody who supports me, go tell Lars Mapstead that you support him and you want to be a delegate, but you don't have enough money to get there.
I might just do that because I don't know how I'm going to pay to go to the convention at this point.
Hopefully, we're probably driving. The family's probably driving. Okay. So if we drive, of course, I'll take you and AJ. Huh? So well, that's
vote for me.
Funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that, Toads, because I think that after this debate, there's a lot more people interested in your candidacy. I believe that. I do. I think you did I think you did really good in this debate. A lot of people are saying you won the debate. Of course, I think I won the debate because I made some real points that weren't just dropping bombs on people. You made some really good points too. I don't want to take away from you.
It was one of us. I was dropping more bombs though.
I think you came in to drop bombs, and I'm glad that you did. Like I anybody that is culturally like me and you and my friends and the people that I surround myself with, of course, we're happy to see what you did. It was hilarious, dude. I think I won on policy per se, but I think we both kind of had the same answers in a lot of respects.
I think our policy prescriptions are pretty much the same.
Pretty close. But anyway, so but that if you shouldn't get the nomination, who would you like to see get the nomination?
You.
Nice. And I'm going to start saying Toad. I want to see Toad get it if it's not me.
Okay. I don't think it's not much of a choice, man. Like Rechtenwald, I probably agree with him on most things, but he's not inspiring. He's too boring, and everybody else is a total non-starter. Like,
well, it's funny you bring up the boring thing because we, some of the people in the Mises Caucus keep telling us, my supporters that are Mises Caucus people are like, they keep telling us, like, forcing it down the throat, saying it doesn't matter if he's boring. Yes, it fucking does.
Yes, it does.
So much.
It matters so much if you're boring, dude. Like, that's the whole thing is like, if you're going to go out and do a 50-state media tour, right? You're
competing with maybe the most entertaining man in the world.
Yeah, Donald Trump, exactly, dude. Like the guy won the presidency because he's entertaining, right? Like he literally came out of not nowhere. He had a lot of money and people knew who he was from watching him on like Lifestyles of Rich and Famous and shit.
But The Apprentice.
Yeah, The Apprentice. But he was like, yeah, but I'm old, so I said Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. But anyway, so like,
okay, boomer.
Yeah, I'm almost boomering. But the thing is you have to compete with that. You want to do a 50-state media tour, you have to be able to like get invited back to some of these things, right? Like I'm going back on Timcast for a third time on Monday, right? Like Timcast, some people can scoff at Timcast. It's the third largest alternative media show in the country. It's huge, dude. And I'm third. It's my third invite back. Like, and even if you don't pick me, that's fine. But you do need to understand that like you need to have someone that's going to go out and get in the media that's going to make a a lasting impression on people. And if it's just some guy like reading from his phone about how we have to wrest power back from the central control of the government, like nobody's gonna give a shit, dude. Nobody's gonna care at all. And I don't care how much you try to say it doesn't matter that he's boring. Yes, it fucking matters that he's boring. It matters so much. He could be right on every issue. He's not, by the way. He's not right on abortion. He's not a pro-life candidate.
I know that, yeah.
And that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, should he get I want somebody who's pro-life to get the nomination. Like, staunchly fucking pro-life to the max.
It's just you and me, man.
Yeah, I think we're the
Nobody
only
else.
two, right? We're the only two, I believe, out of any party in the entire United States right now that are staunchly, vehemently pro-life right now, dude.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, dude, I want to. You know, I like that's the thing is like I really didn't like Michael Rechtenwald at all in the first couple months. Like I think that he embellishes. I think that he has been lied about a lot of things. I think he tries to backtrack on shit very, very clearly on things. I think that he came into this thing thinking that he was going to attack me and started attacking me right away. That's why we fired back. I tried to be nice. I told him, hey, I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail. He immediately made a post about me on Twitter without me ever even saying a bad thing to him. And so like, I didn't like the guy, and I've grown to like the guy personally, like traveling around the country. I shake his hands. I've met his son. They're really nice people. Like, I think that Mike's a nice guy. I don't think he's a good candidate. I don't think that he's going to inspire any amount of people outside of our own circles. It'd be like Hans Hermann Hoppe running, right? Like, I'd love to see a Hans Hermann Hoppe presidency, right? Or a candidacy. He can't, he's not born here, but you know, the vast majority of the people who would be inspired by Hans Hermann Hoppe in a media tour right now today already think like us. There's no doubt about it, dude. And I love Hoppe. Like, I love Hoppe.
And one of the things about like being charismatic and entertaining is not being nice. A lot of the most entertaining people are very impolite people. That's one of the things that drives comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you have this nice, quiet, polite guy, you're not going to draw any attention.
Well, look, we're not going to wrest power, central control power from the federal government by giving people lectures, dude. It's just not going to work. Not how it works, dude.
Or by being kind to them.
Yeah, or by being kind. I want to go in here and call these people nerds and losers and dorks. Like, I literally want to do that. And you know, I was hoping to get in this free and equal debate so that I could call these people socialists, you know, and commies in person on TV. Like, that's why I was trying to get in there. And you guys didn't want to give me the votes to get in there. That's fine. Whatever. Hey, no big deal.
Chase, like, no, we will not put the governors in Guantanamo Bay. The only position that a libertarian should take is to close Guantanamo Bay.
I was like, yeah, I want to close it and then reopen it for the governors to Gitmo.
Yeah, we'll close it and let
like,
the people who are in there out now. We'll throw all the governors in there. That's the correct position.
Well, later in the debate, he was like, yeah, the people that were behind the COVID regime, lock them up and throw away the key. Chase, what do you think Gitmo is for?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
What do you think Gitmo's for, buddy?
That's the whole point. I want to lock them up and throw away the key in Gitmo, a place that a lot of these people that were put in there created. How great is that? Here's a taste of your own medicine. I'm not saying we're going to put them in there and waterboard them. Now, if Toad's in charge, hey, you know,
I might
get weird.
That.
It might get weird. But I'm saying I want to put them, you know, and maybe it's tongue in cheek. Maybe it's in jest. Maybe it is just some other prison for, you know, these federal pedophiles who I'm going to put in there. But I mean it. Like, I seriously, I would, if that was what we had, I would, you know, take all these people that are in Guantanamo Bay, put them in actual, like, legit federal prisons where they can have a fair trial and not be tortured until, you know, they get their sentence handed down, and then use that space for these people that imposed the absolute worst tyranny of my lifetime and maybe ever in the United States for 4 years on my family, on my friends, on my job, on, you know, I know people who've died because of this thing, not just due to the vax, but due to the vax and also due to the lockdowns. Suicide, several friends that have committed suicide.
Broad scale tyranny.
Really bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, kind of equally distributed tyranny. It's probably the worst the United States has seen. Now,
unless you're
more
Jacob
focused, you can talk
Hornberger.
about FDR's internment camps for the Japanese. That was worse, but that was only for a small subsection of the population.
Unless you're Hornberger and you have no interest in even discussing it whatsoever. Which, yeah, that blew my mind. But I would agree with everything that Josh just said. But I won't advocate waterboarding them, but I believe my actual policy prescription was to blast screamo at them.
Nice. Yeah. Like
Infinitely.
the worst screamo. Like not the worst screamo, like the screamo that I think's the best, but the kind that normal people can't stand, like old school Page 99 and You and I, like the shit from like the late 80s, early 90s. That's just like you can't make out a single word being said. Oh, that'd be great, dude. I'd love to do that.
A singular Insane Clown Posse song on a repeat
Oh,
the whole time.
Miracles, dude. The whole time. Magnets. How the fuck do they work? That would be hilarious, dude. Or the one where he talks about dipping his nuts in her macaroni. That'd be good too. That's from the Great Malenko. I don't know much about them, but
I don't know much about them.
Matt, there's a guy in the chat named Matt throwing $2 super chats. Thanks, dude, for $2 super chats.
Yeah,
he said,
"Is that the guy who's in love with us, especially in love?"
I don't
with
know.
Cole?
It says
Is it
Toad,
that Matt?
He says Toad getting chucked real time. Toad is on his knees for Josh. Suck it, Toad. He might.
What?
Oh, somebody said that it's gay that I saying POTUS like it's a real word. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I do that sometimes. It's easier than saying President of the United States. I don't know.
You could just say president.
My cousin, I used to not say that, Mike, but yeah, I guess it could. Well, presidential debate. I say POTUS debate a lot.
Oh, okay. Fair
That's
enough.
that's typically when I use it. My cousin, who I respect more than anything, in fact, the person who got me to these ideals originally, one of the people, my cousin Chris Diamond, who now lives in Thailand, but with his wife there, but really
His wife in Thailand.
no, it's really his wife in Thailand.
I know.
That lives in Thailand. Don't be a fucking dick, dude.
No,
Don't be a dick.
His wife
you know
might
the
have a dick
stereotype
if it's
about Thailand, right?
No, it's not a dude. Okay. I don't even think she's from Thailand. I think she's from
Okay.
another Asian country. But my cousin Chris is the coolest dude in the world. Okay, shut the fuck up.
She's
Literally
one of those
the coolest
lady boys he just hasn't found out
guy.
yet.
No, literally one of the coolest dudes in the whole world. Shut your fucking mouth, dude. I'll fight you both. Okay. No,
right.
he used to go be online at the Perturbed Patriot, and he used to do the Liberty Minute, which was like a minute rant, and it actually got pretty popular. And his little like rants and his stuff is like how I kind of got to these ideals. It was like kind of a big segue for me. I lived in Georgia with them when I was 10. That's the people that I went and had dinner with when I was in Georgia, were his parents, aunt and uncle, who I love to death, Auntie Em and Uncle Mike. And so he always said POTUS, and I don't know why I've just always latched onto that. Now I'm running for president, and I say it all the time. I get it. It's gay, dude. It's fine. I'll survive.
Definitely gay.
So let's move on to Mike Tremont. What do you think about Mike Tremont, dude?
I don't think about him at all.
Here's the thing about Tremont.
He's a cop. I mean, I don't trust him.
Yeah, I actually really like Mike Tremont, and
I like Mike.
Let me talk. We've had him in the house. He came over and had dinner with my family and sat down to the show here. I actually really like Mike Tremont.
You invited a Fed into your house? What's up with that?
Well, he wasn't a Fed. He was a sheriff. But anyway, so I actually really like Tremont. But someone pointed out to me, rightly so, this weekend, that in every debate he always agrees with me and then doesn't really add anything to what I had just said. He just kind of says the same thing over and over again. And I didn't realize it until I went back and watched the debate. There's even a section there where he's like, "And listen, I think Josh did a really good job of getting us to the 5-yard line, but I'm going to get us over the goal line."
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, he really does do that. Like every debate, dude. He doesn't. We don't attack each other.
He vultures you.
He like literally agrees with. He always says, "I agree with my friend Josh here," like constantly, over and over and over again. And I'm like, this is pretty wild, dude. I never noticed that happening until now.
If you go back and watch the Iowa debate, all four of you was basically just like, "Yeah, I agree with everybody else here, and here's why."
Well, I don't agree with Chase on a lot of stuff, obviously, and I think I went into this debate headstrong, thinking this has to be the time where I go full bore attack, right? Like, because I was taking it easy. Like I got a little into some stuff in the Florida debate, but it's like, as you learn about the candidates, of course, there's more things you want to talk about. But like I always respected Hornberger for the the work that he's done in the movement. And I think I even to some extent like had some respect for Chase because he's been fucking like traveling all over the country for like a year and a half, really, really working his ass off on this campaign.
That just makes me think he's more of a loser because what is he getting out of it?
He's running
Nothing.
a good campaign, and the thing that I will applaud him for, dropped a lot of the identity politics stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't constantly bring up that he's gay.
Well, he does, and he did it several times in the debate. It might come as a surprise to you, but I'm a
from
gay
what I've
man.
seen,
His
Head
existence.
Toad-
I
Head
have-
Toad said, "Yeah,
It's
we're all
just obvious
shocked."
that he's gay.
yeah,
Did
I
say
haven't.
that? I don't
I
even
think
know.
I haven't
so.
watched
Was it
the
you
last
or me?
20
One of
minutes
us.
of the debate, but he's only brought it up once at that point. The Iowa debate, he didn't bring it up.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Ryan. How many times in any of the debates that you've watched me be in have you heard me bring up the fact that I'm a straight man?
You've mentioned your wife and kids.
No. How
in
many times
several
have I
Zero.
said, this might come as a surprise to you, but as a straight man, how many times?
Like you haven't.
Now
correctly,
that
but
you hear
said
it,
a wife and
listen.
kid.
Now that you hear it in that context, do you hear how fucking stupid it is when you do it in politics? Like no one gives a shit about what your sexual preferences are. Yes, I'm going to talk about my family, and he talks all the time about his nephews and his brothers and his grandfather. Trust me, I've heard the same canned speeches over and over and over. It's literally verbatim, dude. He wrote these out and says them into a mirror, bro. Like I promise you. But never once have I said, as a dude that likes to fuck women, okay, I've never once said, as the resident
You should, actually.
as the resident, straight guy.
the resident heterosexual.
As the resident hetero guy, as the resident cisgender guy. Like, have you ever heard me say any of that shit? No, because it's fucking stupid in the context of politics. No one gives a fuck if you're gay, except for, the very small minority of gay people that are on the left. That's it.
No,
Even the gay people on the right don't give a fuck, dude.
No, I do care. I will not. I don't trust anybody to be the presidential nominee who likes to take it in the ass.
Oh, Jesus. Of course you don't. Sodomy's bad, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah.
There was just
God
assuming Chase
destroyed
is the
those
bottom.
people for a reason.
Chase is a bottom, dude. There's no doubt.
He's
I don't
definitely
have.
a
I don't
bottom.
have to guess. It's pretty clear. I called him a twink, and he's like, "Yeah, that's not offensive at all." I'm like, "Yeah, I knew it, dude." a tough top would have been like, "That's fucked up. You called me a twink, dude." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not Chase. Chase was like,
You
"Yeah,
know,
I'm not
gay
offensive."
man,
Not offensive.
you know what a gay man who's a top, you can identify them because they're usually like jacked and shit.
Are they? You know a lot of
Okay.
tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to be
Well,
domed by them,
I
obviously.
have
We
a gay
figured.
brother, and his husband. Both of them are overweight, and yeah, no idea who's what in that relationship, and I don't want to know.
No. I don't want to think about the physics of that at all.
Yeah. Okay, conspiracy extremist. Thank you for the $2 super chat.
Oh,
He said,
dude.
"Normalize calling the other candidates gay." Yeah, hey,
Yes.
Toad, you're gay.
All right. Yeah,
Toad will do that. Toad will be the guy that does that.
Yeah.
I probably already did. I think
I'm pretty
probably
sure
did.
you have several times. Oh, look at. Hey, Polpo's in the chat, dude. I seen him posting about you earlier. Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
What
He's,
happened with Polpo?
I have him blocked. I don't even know half the shit he said, but I know he's comparing me to Vermin Supreme as if there's any comparison at all. That guy's a fucking commie.
Who?
Vermin Supreme.
He's worse than a commie. He's a smelly commie too. I've been around him. He stinks like a motherfucker, dude.
Well, they all smell.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. All right, so let's move on. Who next? We talked about Tremont. We talked about Hornberger. We talked about Mapstead. We talked about Chase. And we talked about Vermont.
Rechtenwald.
I think we got them all. We
Yeah.
should talk about this Josh Smith guy. What's up?
Yeah.
with
What
him?
what did you think about
What a
Josh?
gay loser.
What did you think about Joshua Smith's performance in the Libertarian Party of Georgia debate, Toad?
I thought it was a decent performance. I agree with him on pretty much everything. I think everything that he said. I like that he really pissed off Chase. I just think that he didn't like take it to that next level and go over the top with it like Toad did.
Yeah, it's because I'm not nearly as gay. That's why.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
His powers were suppressed by his shoes.
You're holding back, Josh. I went into it just being like, I don't give a fuck about this, and I'm like looking at everybody on stage, including you, and being like, all these people are losers, so I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck about this. I'm
Except
just
that you know I'm not a loser, buddy. Because I've already won it.
Alright.
I've already won at life. That's the thing. Like you can call my party a
That's
bunch
true.
of losers all you want,
Mhm.
but I'm already winning at life, dude. Like I got 7 kids and everything's good, and I got the house, and we have a great family, and my kids are we're doing great things and sports and school. Like I'm already living the dream, dude. So when people are like, "You're a loser," I'm like, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
However,
It doesn't bother me at all.
you were talking about sleeping on my couch, but you were sleeping on the couch at the Airbnb that we had there, and you might be possessed by demons.
Yeah,
bro.
I snore like a motherfucker, dude.
You
Real
snore horribly, and then there was that. I didn't witness this, but Raisin, I think, witnessed this. By the way, Raisin is his name because he has one testicle, and it's one like shriveled thing that looks like a raisin. I think that's the reasoning for his nickname being that now. He witnessed you, I think, being in some state where you were not awake, but your eyes were open, and you were like a completely different person. So you were like somehow like functional in a way, but you weren't actually awake. But I think you were like possessed or something.
Oh, you're talking about Raisin saw me.
Yeah, he saw you in that state. I did not.
Yeah, well, he took a video of me and posted it to Twitter as well of me snoring. Well, I've had my nose broken like 11 times, dude. It's so fucked up. It doesn't work at all. You can actually see it, like the lines coming off of it. And you can see in my eye where this bone was broken right next to my nose. I mean, my nose has been absolutely decimated. And
not very presidential, not very worthy of a president.
It does not work very well, especially when
you
I'm
guys want a president with a really nice, immaculate nose like me.
Yeah, that's look at that fucking thing. That's beautiful, dude. And those feet, those amazing
I don't know,
feet.
I did not really think
I want to
anything
make a
of my
reference,
feet.
but nobody will get it.
What is it?
Mr. Polpo said no. He said you're Vermin Supreme Pizza. Dude, it's Polpo, bro. Why? Listen, I don't understand why people have problems with Polpo. He's fucking hilarious, dude. If you like take his trolling for what it is, it's fucking hilarious, dude. It's funny.
I understand what it is. I don't find him to be funny.
Oh man, I love it, dude. I've had him on the show a few times. He's hilarious.
I think at this point he's kind of just a jealous faggot.
Oh, oh, I know you heard that one, Polpo. He did make a post about you earlier. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I saw the screenshot of you had him blocked, and he said something that was.
Yeah, that sucks for him.
Oh, he was. I know which post you're talking about. It was the one like careful who you surround yourself with, and it was about the two people that got arrested for CP.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, those two trannies. Yeah, and he put me and Clint on it instead.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought that was funny.
There, I see. I don't think you guys are that.
Not with the way that this community reacts to everything.
Yeah, no shit, dude. It does get really crazy out there. Level Zero, thanks for being a member for 27 months, dude.
Oh yeah.
You might be one of the longest members. Definitely, You're definitely one of the longest members. I don't know if you're the longest member, but you're definitely one of. He says, Josh and Toad ticket is what we need. Good cop, bad cop. The entire election season, I'm bare feet. Wait a minute. Which one of us is the bad cop? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one of us is the bad cop and which one. We're both fucking assholes, dude.
It's probably me. I don't know.
I'm sure he's thinking you're the bad cop.
Is the bad cop.
Who?
During that debate, yeah, Termod is every cop. But during that debate, Josh was like, I still have like a lot of respect for Hornberger. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, you did say that too. You legitimately, I don't have a lot of respect for you, Hornberger. That's what you said. That was fucking hilarious, dude. I was like, damn, dude. And the crowd was like, ooh. But I still think that the sundowning comment is
I told him that he needed to return to his home. Like
there was that one. There was another. There was something else you said too, and I don't remember what it was. I think the sundowning one was the top. I mean, I think that was the best.
In the closing statement or whatever, I called him like a perennial loser because I said he was in like every LP primary election cycle and just lost every time, something like that.
He lost to Joe Jorgensen. Well, that one's sinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice, I think. 2 times. Well,
no. It would have been Gary Johnson before that.
No. He ran in 2000 when she was the vice presidential candidate. He ran for. I think he ran for president and lost to Harry Brown.
Oh,
I think that's what it was. But she was the vice presidential candidate for Harry Brown.
Okay, so I was 5.
So she lost to 2 tickets he lost to 2 tickets that Joe Jorgensen was on at least.
Yeah, and I think she ran like in the 90s, I think, too, and he might have lost
96
then too. I'm
96 and 2000. Maybe she's the vice presidential candidate in 96 and not 2000, and he was in 96 as well, the presidential candidate. It was one of those. Awesome. I don't remember exactly. Anyways, so the debate was gay. Very gay.
Yeah.
That was mostly just a result of Toad and Chase.
Well, and there was a couple in the audience too, and somebody got really mad at me because there's a guy online saying, look, listen, you can hear the crowd is really upset about all this COVID vaccine talk. You can tell that they're just done with it. The guy even screams, enough about the goddamn vax, right?
That's because he is vaxxed, and he was pissed that one of the questions asked all the candidates
Are you
if they
vaxxed,
are
right?
vaxxed. Yeah,
Well, and I
which
think
is it's a fair question, dude. Because with Chase, like, which I think I pointed out, it means that you fell for that, even though you're trying to run for the party who is like the party represents distrust of government, but you trusted them enough to get that vaccine like a year into that shit. Like, if you didn't identify that shit right away, and you've been a libertarian or claimed to be a libertarian for that long a period of time, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
My triggering of Chase was just
trusted.
about that, because he came out and said, yes, I got the vax because I trusted my doctor and because I have an immunocompromised mother.
The medical establishment.
Yeah, he said my I care about my immunocompromised mother, and I didn't want her to die. And I got back
on
around
the heartstrings.
Yeah, got back around to me, and I've been following Chase on Facebook, his personal Facebook, for about 4 or 5 years. Okay, and I remember clearly the posts that he made on Twitter and his personal profile. I probably actually have them screenshotted now.
Dude, he virtue signaled about getting the vax, and I called him on it, and he blocked me for it.
Do you remember when I in
2021
in the debate when I said he was advocating for the Fauci ouchie, and he's like, I didn't call it the Fauci ouchie. You saw that debate, but anyway, so I called him out on it. I said I very clearly remember 2 summers ago you making a post saying very clearly that you would be getting the shot because you were tired of being locked down, because you had actually locked yourself down for a year or whatever, and you were getting the shot so that you could go out and live your life. Those were his exact words.
I remember him saying that. You're right. I do remember that.
Nothing at all about I got duped into this because I have an immunocompromised mother. No, you got duped into it because you actually followed all this shit and locked yourself down, and then you advocated for other people to get this poisonous fucking gene therapy, okay? Right. So that you could go out and live your life, dude. Like, you're not equipped to deal with the propaganda of the state. You're not equipped to be the presidential candidate that's going up against the state. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
period.
he's only taking this position now that I was duped or whatever. That's the position he's taking now that it's like okay to take that position. Like, he was certainly not doing that when it was even like remotely not okay to be saying that.
Like,
bro, hold on. Popo is just roasting you in the chat, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Toad, but he said something kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. He said Toad only showed up because he thought the guy's name was Chase Olives. It was the dumbest, funniest joke, dude. Come on. Right.
Like I got the.
I'm gonna fix you and Popo. I'm gonna fix you guys.
I'm Italian, so that's true.
It does make. Are you Italian?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were Italian.
I like some olives.
I got the vax, but I was fully prepared to lose my job over the requirement, because nowhere in my contract does it say that I am under any obligation to show you any part of my medical history.
Right.
And you can fuck right off with that.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances that I got the vaccine under, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Because it was to the best man in my wedding, my brother, had his first child. She had to have surgery, very young. I got the vaccine about the first week or so that it was available, because they were being abundantly cautious with their, vulnerable first child in a town where they were locked down and away from family, and I went to visit them to help restore some of their sanity, because they were out in Nebraska away from any family, hadn't really had anyone over, and they were like, we don't want to take any chances. And I said, yeah, I'm fine. I am glad to assume that risk, even if it doesn't do anything to protect my needs.
We don't need 20 minutes of you justifying why you fell for the propaganda, bro. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous.
Honestly,
I'm going to value family over liberty.
Honestly, bro, I get it, dude. I get it.
Like, that's how I am.
I don't run for president.
I get value in family.
Yeah.
I mean, I get value in family, but yeah, I mean, the propaganda was insane, and none of it was true. Like, very young people were not susceptible to the virus whatsoever. Of course, we know the dangers of the vaccine.
Yeah, and it was about 2 to 3 weeks after that the truth about it really started to come out about stuff. But when I got it, there was virtually no information.
This is all the information you needed. They rushed that vaccine out in less than 6 months, bro. When it comes to trial processes of all vaccines in the United States, the minimum is like a 3-year period, bro. Okay. Yeah. There was no long-term safety and efficacy data or efficiency data at all. Zero. Okay. If you know anything about, but they banked on people not knowing about trial processes, not knowing about emergency authorization acts, not knowing about, mandates and all these things that they're throwing at you. So I get that some people fell for it, but you still fell for the propaganda at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Because there's no way that millions of people died to COVID. My 2-year-old got COVID and he had a fever for 24 hours, bro. I'm telling you right now, the flu has killed more people. I know it. Yeah. I know it for a fact.
Well, the flu disappeared for a 2.5-year period.
Which
very suspicious.
Very suspicious, of course. I'm
proud of. I will always be proud of the fact that I have tweets from April of 2020 going against the COVID regime. April of 2020. I don't even.
The reason why I took to Twitter was right around that time during
I
the
don't
lockdowns.
know.
I don't know
that there's. I don't know that we even knew that COVID was here yet in April of 2020, and I was already rallying against lockdowns, bro. Yeah, I know. I think it was like the beginning of March.
We got locked down
in March.
In March, we got locked down. I remember like February, it was like escalating, and I'm like, I was already, because I was a libertarian for a while by then, and I was just thinking like, this is bad. Like this is like SARS all over again. Basically, I was like, this is all going to be bullshit.
I was arguing with good friends.
Fall for this shit.
Good friends. I was arguing with good friends and libertarians and people who, for all intents and purposes, should have been absolutely against this stuff right away. And it totally cucked them to an entire regime of propaganda, bro. Like cucked forever cucked. They will never come back from that. I'll never trust their judgment in politics ever again. And that was probably the thing about Hornberger in this debate that was so bad for Clint and I, especially because Clint was one of the only other accounts that I knew back then that was railing against the shit back when he was like an Anon account, right? Like nobody even knew who the fuck he was.
I was, man.
Toad, I didn't follow you in 2020.
You didn't know me back then.
I didn't follow you yet. So I've just watched so many people cuck to this regime, dude, and like I want those people, like not those people, like the people that have been duped by propaganda, but I want the people that tried to set out to dupe my friends and family and community and hurt people and wrest this global control. I want them all punished, bro. And like, if you think that makes me not libertarian, good, fuck you. I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit if that makes you think I'm not libertarian.
It makes you as libertarian as possible. And I'm kind of wondering like what Rechtenwald's like kind of vaccine story is, because we know that all the rest of the guys on that stage there are vaxxed. Mike wouldn't even admit it, but
I leaned over.
He is.
I leaned over to Termott during the debate because he made a post about getting the vax. I seen his post about getting the vax. And
anybody who's refusing to answer that question, that's already they're answering yes if they're refusing.
The first thing I did every single time someone has announced for president, or any time that somebody was any of the presidential candidates were running before me, I immediately went to their social media pages and searched
for
COVID.
Too, yeah.
I searched for lockdowns. I searched for masks. I searched for mandates. I searched for coronavirus. I searched for all of these keywords, dude. Okay, because I wanted to know, because if you weren't against the COVID regime 3 years ago, you're disqualified, in my opinion. Disqualified. Done.
Although for me, I think a lot of my old tweets are deleted because I had to go, like, I'm trying to avoid the ban hammer here, so I've done a lot of the tweet deletion stuff. I know Clint has done a bunch of that too, but dude, like you and I we're the only two that really we really pushed back on the vaccine regime, like while it was happening. Like I know you you went up against it to such a degree that you organized like your coworkers to all go up against it, right?
Yes.
Like,
yep.
You basically had like a walkout.
They ended our mandate. They ended our job mandate the day before we were all going to walk out of the building. Yes, I organized everybody in my building not to take it. I saved those people's lives, I believe.
Yeah, and for me, I was the only. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person at my entire company who stood against it. I was just the lone person standing against it. There was no way that I was going to be able to organize a bunch of people in Boston to be on my side with this. So I just was like, I have to look out for myself here. I can't take this vaccine. I have health issues as well. I can't do it. So I pushed back against it as much as I could. They like rejected my well, I couldn't even get a medical exemption because my doctors are fucked as well. You can't trust the medical establishment, dude. Like my PCP refused to even like discuss medical exemptions at all. Like I couldn't even get them on the phone. And then like I have like a neurologist as well who's a stroke specialist because I had a stroke in 2011, and he basically was like, I'm not going to give you a vaccine exemption. He's like, I think you should get it. I'm like, really? Like, you know my medical history? Like, fuck that. So I went the religious exemption route. That got rejected by my job. And then I was just like, I was prepared to get fired, basically. I'm just like, I'm just going to push it out as much as possible. Like, I believe they mandated it whenever the Biden mandate came in. And my company's not even 100 people, but they still instituted it because that's what happens with government, even if you're not a company of that size. Like, even if you're like in the middle there, like 50, 60 people, whatever, a lot of these companies are still going to mandate it. I had to get it by, I think it was October, 2021, maybe. I just kept pushing it off. I didn't do it. The deadline passed, and I'm like, are they going to fire me? I don't know. No, they didn't. But I just kept working from home. I guess they like realized they also like couldn't afford to lose me or whatever. And then when the mandate got struck down by whatever federal court that was, I think in February 2022, it was like none of it even had happened at all. And they were just like, come back to the office. And I was like, this is insane. And they just pretended like none of that ever even happened. It was so crazy. And even Josh, when you were visiting me, we were like going out to the bars and stuff. And
you never saw me with a fucking mask on, that's for sure.
No. But that was in like December 2021, right? So that was during the period of time where I was banned from my. Initially
you had to work from home. They were making you work from home.
Yeah,
I remember.
I got banned from the office initially for not wearing a mask. The building deactivated my like security card and didn't even tell me, just because they saw me not wearing a mask in this gigantic lobby, not even close to anybody. So during that period of time where I was banned from the office, I think it was for both reasons at that point, for not masking and not getting the vax. You were over here. I was working from home, but then we were just like going to all these crowded bars and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not allowed to be in the office, but I could like run into my coworkers at this bar at the same time and be even closer to them. It's so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. The Kiwi man, thanks for a $10 super chat, man. I appreciate you. He said, careful, Hornberger's going to start calling you all far-right McCarthyists like his hour-long rants about Clint. And then
it's a compliment.
In parentheses, he said the libertarian Dash Dabrowski. And then signed Pulpo.
Yeah. Calling us right wing McCarthyites is a compliment.
Yeah, I'm like, he's like, you guys are right wing extreme McCarthyites. I'm like, oh, was I supposed to be?
Yeah, was I supposed to like communists?
Am I supposed to be a leftist? Like, what are you talking about?
McCarthy didn't go far enough, buddy. Look around you. Let me gesture vaguely. Look around you. He didn't go far enough, dude. Look around you. Look at your children's schools. Look at the local library, dude. Go to the church up the street from your house that has a rainbow flag fucking hanging from the window, dude. Like, he didn't go far enough. Sorry. They have completely infiltrated everything. Everything. Your religious institutions, your Christian institutions have been taken over by communists. Are you going to continue to let this happen? Or are you going to say, okay, maybe McCarthy was right? At what point do you say maybe McCarthy was right?
The big churches in Boston they fly like tranny flags, they fly the Ukraine flag, and then like even after the COVID shit was over, they still like the Trinity Church in Copley Square there in Boston had like signs on the door still that were like wear a mask, help your neighbor or whatever, like be kind to your neighbor, wear a mask. Like, this is so fucking bad. Totally subverted.
The messy. Thanks for the 556 super chat. Your first super chat. He said, "Will you be at the North Carolina presidential debate?" I don't know. We are working on that now. I would like to be there, but it's kind of short time, and I don't know. I cannot give a confident yes to that question yet. I would like to be able to, but I can't. I may not. I don't want them to like base anything that they're doing around me showing up, unfortunately. And then Andy made. Why can't I see that? I never see the damn cool that it does. Maidman, he said he got the vax because he figured the Army already gave me so much crap. How much worse could it be? And that's funny you say that.
Ooh.
I'm actually vax injured from the anthrax vaccine. I have alopecia and some other immune issues because of the anthrax vaccine. And there was the funniest part about that is there was a huge class action lawsuit against the Department of Defense over that specific vaccine, and it was thrown out of court. Dude. Huge. So many people have been injured by the anthrax vaccine. So many fucking people. And they threw it out. They threw the whole case out, dude. It's really crazy what happens when the Department of Justice oversees something bad that the Department of Defense does, because it usually gets thrown out, unfortunately.
Wait, you mean checks and balances don't exist? What?
No. Yeah, absolutely not.
Well, they exist. They just didn't account for the fact that everyone was going to be a raging sociopath.
All right, so we've kind of covered the debate here. Rechtenwald, boring. Hornberger, fucking way out of touch. Way out of touch. Lars Mapstead is an absolute fucking degenerate who cultivated.
Josh,
shut up, Ryan. Shut up. Fuck! Don't make me go all Timcast here, dude. Stop cutting me off. Dude. We got Lars Mapstead is an absolute degenerate who actually created the OnlyFans culture that you see today. Mike Tremont, nice guy. I like him. He'd be fun to have a drink with. I don't know what else to say about him. I don't think he's wrong about a lot of his policies. Mostly he's right. I don't think he's a truly pro-life candidate. That's a knock for me.
He's wrong on immigration. I
think he's wrong on immigration. He's not open borders, but he's not closed borders. He's not like prison type borders. He's like a Ellis Island style guy, which I don't.
He's a very milquetoast.
I'm not mad about that.
Yeah,
either.
he's not boring, but he's not the beacon of charisma or anything. Are you just going to get upset every time I talk?
No, I just want to go through the presidential list here so we can get on the next topic.
But it's
We're
okay
already
when
over an
Toad
hour.
does
It's
it,
an hour
not when
and
I do it.
No, trust me. I'm going to start getting on Toad's ass too. He knows it. Listen, okay. We
and
got
my feet.
Yeah, and his feet. We got Toad, who's an in real life shit poster. I mean, he actually showed up and shit posted on camera in real life, which is pretty savage. Who else? Who am I? Oh, we have Chase. He's gay. What else?
You're not wrong.
He's a twink.
He's a twink. I think Chase actually has some good policy prescriptions too, but he's really wrong on a lot of things. And I think that he's hypocritical when it comes to freedom of association. And I think that he really got triggered when I brought that up. And then, of course, you have me, your clear front runner and winner. So I appreciated that debate. It was a fun debate.
And Chase, for good for his sake, I guess, that we did not really get into the transing children issue or drag queens during that debate, because those are some of his worst.
He would have been even more triggered. We should have found a way to segue into that from the COVID and Equality Rights Act thing. That would have been hilarious. All right, anyways, so moving on to RFK Jr. This is crazy to me. I really want to talk about a little bit about this with you guys specifically, and I want people to know what I've been seeing.
Him liking the ass.
So no, fuck. Listen, I've been shit posting about RFK all day today because he apparently in 2022 his TikTok account posted on a big ass on TikTok. Very nice or whatever, hard eyes. Well, he came out.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah, he came out today. He came out today and said actually that was his social media manager's old account, but they wanted to do live streaming when he became a presidential candidate, so he took over that account. Same argument that Rec was using for all of his prior tweets, by the way, when he came into the fucking to the debate to this race. But that's not what's important to me right now. The fact that he blamed it on a black dude on the first day of Black History Month. Hey, whatever, you can think what you want. Well, but here's the thing.
It is a good excuse, at least, because that black men like those huge asses.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, so here's the thing, dude. RFK is softening up libertarians right now. And I know that some people might be like, what are you talking about? But there's this national conversation around libertarian circles about what if RFK were to run as a libertarian. It's been brought up in the mainstream media several times, even with him. And he said, I've talked to the chairwoman of the Libertarian Party. It's a possibility. We would have ballot access. We'd be able to be on all ballots across the country, this and that and this and that. Now, the vast majority of libertarians, when they hear this, go, ha, fuck that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he was really good on he's a medical malpractice lawyer, dude. That's what he does, okay?
Yeah, so he was really good on that issue.
He was good on the COVID vaccine issue. But it wasn't, and I need people to understand this, and it wasn't just that he was like, fuck this regime. It was that he was like, from the medical malpractice world where he was like, well, this was rushed and there could be an issue here. He said specifically several times, if this thing had gone through all the trials and could show that it wasn't hurting people, I'd have no problem with it at all. You know, it wasn't the regime that he had a problem with. It was the rush of the vaccine. But anyways, so he's good on this issue, this medical freedom issue. He's been really good on this medical freedom issue. He's a fucking eco-fascist entirely, to the point of where he wants businesses shut down and thrown out of the market if they don't comply with climate change agenda. Okay, he said this repeatedly. He's a socialist monetary guy. He's a fucking old school Democrat, dude. He said we need to use government-backed bonds to bail out the housing crisis, dude. Like holy shit, why hasn't anyone else ever thought about that in the United States before? Maybe every fucking president in history has already done this, and that's why we're in the situation we're in today. He was not good on alternative currencies. He went. I listened to him on a 3.5 hour Bitcoin space with some of the biggest Bitcoin names. He had no fucking clue what he was talking about. He was very clearly just trying to appease the people on that call. In retrospect, I did one for 3 hours, and I was able to talk about all the things that I knew about, and it was important to me and the alternative currency community. And I think I did very well. I think Bitcoin is still the way forward when it comes to currency. I know some people call me a nerd, whatever. I don't care. I believe that that's a way to opt out of the federal central banking system. He's terrible on guns. Now, this is a fucking do or die issue for me. Okay, if you aren't an extremist when it comes to the Second Amendment, I don't want you in office. I want you out. I want every single Republican that's not an extremist on the 2A primaried. If there can't be primaried, I want a libertarian to run against them that is. Okay, and I mean that. So it's a no for me, dog. Right, but I've been seeing some names you might recognize softening up an RFK run. Okay, and I'm going to name.
I'm softening up
right
hearing
now.
about this.
Yeah, we're all getting soft hearing about an RFK run. But I do want to.
He's also a Zionist, which you didn't mention.
Yeah, he's all. Oh yeah,
Terrible.
and he's been bad on the Israel thing, right? He's like he went from I'm an anti-war guy to we must decimate the Palestinians, right? Okay, so. But this is funny. This is going to be really funny to some people on here right now. And this might make some people mad. And I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it makes you mad. Okay. I have seen with my own eyes the chair of the Mises Caucus, Michael Heiss. I have seen with my own eyes the chair of the Libertarian National Committee, Angela McArdle, with my own eyes in private channels. And I heard it in public tonight on Dave Casey, Dave vs. Goliath show, who I respect, even though we're not happy with each other right now.
So you're allowed to say this now.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
They are fucking softening up caucus members to an RFK run.
Softening up the caucus, yeah.
And I don't mean in a let's all go flaccid and not vote for RFK. I mean in a listen, we all know that we're not going to do very well in the presidential election this year. So why don't we rent the party out to RFK Jr. so that we can get ballot access and money and donors and all this stuff, right? Yeah. The funniest thing in the world to me, as a guy who came in 2016 to oppose this bullshit with Gary Johnson and Bill Weld.
Yeah, this is the same thing as Bill Weld.
This is what we did. This is why we came here. This was the whole fucking mission, was to get away from this shit. And now I'm watching you do the same thing. Fuck you,
dude. This is the nature of political parties. Like it becomes this whole thing. Like we need to do this to win. So you just kind of you get away from your principles in order to win. I think that's what's going on here. Even though I have praised RFK for some of his stances on the COVID shit, but yeah, he should not be. Obviously, he should not be representing the Libertarian Party. He's obviously not a libertarian, far from it. I think for our purposes, he would be much better served. I wanted him to stay in the Democratic race, dude, because at least in the Democratic Party, he can push the Overton window like in a better direction over there, potentially. Like that is where he's best served. Well, he should not be.
This isn't even about RFK to me. Like
anywhere.
I don't think we can be. I don't think RFK can get our nomination unless they soften it up for these fucking people who came in to oppose this same kind of bullshit, dude. This is literally why we're here. And I could read screenshots and all that shit. I'm not going to do that. I could read screenshots of where it's being talked about by these these figureheads of the caucus that got started to oppose this exact bullshit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That pisses me the fuck off, dude. Like nothing that has happened over the last 2 years has made me more mad than seeing that shit. And it's because the real sacrifice, the real shit that we all put in, the time, the money, the effort, the giant amount of fucking people it took to wrestle this party away from the people who would have been totally cool with that. Will all be so fucking burned that they'll walk away. You'll have the same thing that started in 2016 where Gary Johnson and Bill Weld brought in all of these great donors and party members and people ready to work the streets and campaigns, but they were all under some illusion that the Libertarian Party stood for progressive values. And we don't. We don't stand for progressive values. The progressive the progressive era was a mistake and must be fucking repealed immediately.
Yeah,
okay.
Read Rothbard's book about it.
That is the libertarian stance on the progressive era. Almost every policy that came out of the progressive era was tyranny to freedom. Okay. Almost every policy. And it was all done to give more control to the central government. Okay. All of it. And it was done, in the name of justice and equality. And you're seeing what's happening today, where people who just want to live their normal ass life are being oppressed by this majority of progressives that came out of the progressive era. Okay, I'm not voting for a progressive ever in my entire life. I will die before I vote for one on the libertarian ticket, and I mean that. I mean that 100%. I came to this party to fight the control away from the progressive libertarians that were turning it into the fucking shit show it was. That's why I'm here. That's why we sacrificed. And now I'm seeing the people that I fought in the trenches with start to try and soften up the blow for an RFK run. Not good, dude. Not cool. You're fucking gay.
It would be fun to watch RFK fail at a run. And also, what goes through your mind to think that, hey, the most entrenched, established Democrat family in the history of the United fucking States represent the values of liberty? The people that push the progressive era, maybe more than anyone.
No, not more than anyone, but sure.
But they're up there for some of the largest contributors to the progressive era.
LBJ was arguably the force behind that, and maybe the force behind some
and
shit,
LBJ, I think, had something to do with them taking out JFK.
Yeah, I think we all know that, right?
Yeah.
But that was for other reasons.
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing. Like, yeah, dude, he's part of the most like visible Democrat, like entrenched Democrat family in the history of our country, dude. Like, how? I mean, the only like family that's more deeply entrenched Democrat today is fucking the Clintons, dude.
Yeah,
like that's
for sure.
This is like if Chelsea Clinton was a fucking medical malpractice lawyer.
Right. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Name the difference. Name the policy difference. I bet you can't find one.
Bill Clinton with one good idea.
And Bill Clinton, and probably is still going to get the blowies in the Oval Office too. Well, you know what I mean? Absolutely, 100%. And so, like again, I want to clear this up. Like, fuck the progressive era. It was a mistake. It should be repealed immediately. Hell no, we shouldn't run a progressive Democrat who's good on one issue in the Libertarian Party. And if you're a Mises Caucus organizer who has been directed to soften up that run for the I don't know, rank and file membership, stop right now. You're destroying years and years and years and years of fucking work that has been done. And you're not lending any credence to the candidate that you are pushing down everyone else's throat.
Like, Rechtenwald is a more principled candidate.
I would vote for Rechtenwald.
I would vote for Rechtenwald.
I would not vote for RFK Jr. I want everybody to know that. I want everybody to know that. But also, like, what does that say about your faith in your candidate when you're making these posts in, not even really private channels, like the general channel of a private Discord or something like that, right? Like, I see all this stuff anyways. Everybody knows that I see this stuff. And you have the chair of the party talking about maybe he's not our guy, but think about what it will do for ballot access and think about the money that it'll bring in.
Oh, I hate that shit.
And I'm seeing you do it. Like, we're seeing you do it. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Everybody who's watching you knows what you're doing. You're softening the blow for when he does eventually come to California and probably try to announce there. Because he is debating at the California Libertarian Party convention, which, by the way, he didn't have to pay to be in that debate. We want $3,000 from libertarian candidates to be in that debate. Fuck you. I'm not paying you that money to come and debate RFK at a libertarian convention. No, absolutely not. Let Rechtenwald go up there. It'll be hilarious. I promise you. It's going to be the most boring fucking, like, I think it's Rechtenwald. I think Rechtenwald and Hornberger paid to be in this debate. Okay, with Cornel West, maybe Jill Stein, and RFK Jr. Okay.
My co-hosts want to raise the funding for me to go there, and I don't even want to fucking
don't pay him. Don't pay him to do that shit. It's not worth it. It's gonna be. Listen, just to think about the voices you're gonna have to listen to for 2 hours. RFK Jr., Jacob Hornberger, RFK, Jacob Hornberger, and Michael Rechtenwald chewing on fucking mashed potatoes the entire time he's on stage. Okay, you're not going to want to be in that debate. I don't want to be in that debate. I don't give a shit. You want to do like a public debate, just me and RFK, fine. I got a lot to say to that guy, but I'm not paying $3,000 to go debate that guy at a Libertarian Party convention. In a state that I'm from, by the way, that I've been to the more conventions than the guy who put on the convention.
No, and they don't deserve that fucking money.
We should have a watch party and just
we should live if it's a live stream or something, or even if it's not a live stream, we'll find the recording of it.
Do a live stream during it and roast the fuck out of it.
Well, no, I'm gonna be there, so I'll be in California during that debate. Oh. And so what I'm trying to do is get the other candidates. We found a place that's just literally almost right across the street that we can rent out for $150. For 4 hours.
You know what
we're
this
thinking
sounds
about putting
like?
on a debate.
This sounds like when the Mises Caucus was weren't they doing the exact same thing?
Yes.
They were like, yeah, let's have this thing across the street.
Isn't that crazy?
In opposition to the regime.
Isn't that crazy?
Libertarians that's over here.
Isn't that crazy that's where we are right now? Isn't that crazy where this has come? Full circle, bro.
You know that's what would happen.
Horseshoe theory is a motherfucker, dude. Motherfucker.
What the fuck is the name of it? I can't remember the name of it. The Law of Conquest. Fucking why am I drawing a blank here? You know what I mean.
I just realized that my chat froze.
Shit.
I've been missing lots of chat.
The battery on the guys after like an hour and a half.
It's not even showing me anything.
So
there we go.
I can't.
But it's you know what I mean though, like conquest law or whatever. It's that shit. Like you know that this is gonna happen. Every political party will just inevitably drift like towards leftism, towards progressivism, towards like valuing winning over principle. So you just can't even, I don't even think you can do it that way. And I'm saying that as a candidate for this party and a lifetime member of the fucking party. Whoops. Josh, you remember when I did that, right? I said if Josh wins the vice chair, I'm going to become a lifetime member on the spot, and I did.
Well, oh yes, yep, he did. After I became vice chair, he is a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party. Toad, do you regret that decision now?
Yep.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, but it's only a one-time payment, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're getting to the end of this thing. We don't have much time.
But he didn't get duped by the vax.
$1,800. Oh, you want to talk about Justin Moan?
Yeah, we can. I mean, we don't need to, but
the other moaner, the
whore.
Dude, Justin
Nikki
Moan.
Haley.
Oh yeah, Nikki Haley. Yeah, Justin Moan. I will say, so he's the guy that decapitated his father, or whatever, or at least supposedly. I don't even know if that whole thing might just be totally fake. I really don't know, but he had a Spotify channel. He's a musician. He's like a rapper, and he had songs that seemed to almost be like indicating like what he was gonna do. It's pretty insane shit. And Spotify has since removed his profile, so he's gone now.
Yeah, well, I've seen this. So I love the fucking conspiracy hole, right? Like I'm a conspiracy theorist guy. I don't give a shit, but I will say that
you like those holes.
Yeah. So well, just one. I'm a one hole man these days. Okay.
All right.
And I want to say like, so they found this prosthetic head that you could buy for $35 or whatever. It looks like a severed head. And it looks exactly like the one in the bag, dude. I mean, identical to the one that was in the bag.
Dude, the head that he had in that thing looked too big to be a human head.
Well, he was holding it way in front of his face in the camera. I can make my hand look bigger than my face too. So
I guess.
But I will say that the prosthetic head looks exactly the same as the head that was in the bag. If you put fake blood on it and put it in a plastic bag. but they're saying that he's been arrested, that they found the dead body, all this stuff. So for that to happen, that would mean that if that head was fake, it's a false flag. It's all a gay like psyop to try and make people think that, the Trump MAGA guys are getting so radicalized that they're cutting off their own parents' heads. Like, dude, I don't know, man. Like maybe he's just maybe he's just fucking crazy or schizophrenic or something, and just like, he just happens to follow the MAGA stuff, and that's part of his schizophrenia. And maybe you're a fucking idiot if you think like all MAGA people want to go and behead their father for being a federal employee. Like, I don't know, dude, but I think that you're probably going to radicalize a lot more young men by trying to hang your hat on the one instance you can find of that happening. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But the reasoning behind it potentially being a false flag could be like, we want to like make an example of this guy. Like you can't like go up against like the regime, against the feds, or this is what's going to happen to you. Like you're going to get, you're going to have the book thrown at you basically.
Oh no, but yeah, young men typically known for evaluating risk accurately. The same young men that are lonely, hopeless, and sexless, they're really gonna
stop talking about me, bro.
You're not a young man.
That's fucked up because Ryan's way younger than you, I think, Toad. He's only 27.
I'm 28 now.
Oh yeah, you're still a fucking child, dude.
I have a child.
Yeah, you're a child with a child, bro. I got a kid that's almost your age, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm almost 10 years older.
Josh was a grandchild when he was my age, or grandparent when he was my age.
Yeah. You got any grandkids, Ryan?
No.
Yeah, then shut the fuck up, okay?
Did you have any grandkids at 28, Josh?
No, but I had a daughter who was like 9 already. So, and then she made me a grandpa fucking 6 years later. So.
Yeah, I made wise choices, so I didn't have my kid until like a couple months ago.
Yeah. Nikki Haley says that Texit is a go. She supports it, and I do kind of want this. I'm glad that this is kind of going to be our last topic here because I do kind of want this to be my last thought.
Okay.
I worked in the Republican Party for quite some time. Okay, I was a Republican from 2002 until 2010. Okay, so 8 or 9 years I was in the Republican Party. I worked on Ron Paul's campaign in 2008, and then I campaigned again for Ron Paul in the midst of the Occupy movement in 2012. I was no longer a registered voting Republican at that point. I was a registered independent or maybe a libertarian at that point. Okay, but I was a Republican in 2008. And I want to say this to my Republican friends, who I love very much. I know my Liberty friends in the Republican Party. A lot of you are very young. You're very optimistic. You think that this party can be changed, and you lob a lot of insults and anger at the Libertarian Party for being a net negative to the liberty movement. I get that. I understand that. I used to be you, the same person. I used to talk all this shit about the LP, and I used to say like the same exact things, and they're just taking votes from Republicans, and we can change the Republican Party. It will be the party of Ron Paul. It will no longer be the neocon warhawk party of John McCain and Bush. Okay? Said that. Said those same things you're saying today. It will be the party of Trump. It will be the MAGA party. We will get, these liberty Republicans in office. We are going to win. We will change the party. And I love that optimism. I think it's great. But look what happened to Vivek. Okay? Vivek did so bad in Iowa, he had to drop out. Okay. On the other hand, Nikki Haley did not do that bad. And in fact, she got very close in New Hampshire. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Listen. When the Republicans who are going to be doing the electioneering, okay, who are not Vivek Liberty Republicans, who are not Justin Amash Liberty Republicans, who are not Congressman Thomas Massey Republicans. They are the party of Nikki Haley. They are the party of Bush. They are the party of John McCain. They are the deeply entrenched neocon warhawk party that makes up 80% or more of the Republican Party. Okay? when they're doing the electioneering, when they're urging Trump, who for all intents and purposes has been able to get cut through a lot of this neocon shit somehow because of his high profile and already being the president once, okay? This man, this Donald Trump man who told us he was going to drain the swamp, who filled the swamp fuller than it had been in many, many years instead, okay? Who do you think he's going to listen to when he picks a vice presidential nominee? Do you think he's going to listen to Thomas Massey? Do you think he's going to listen to Justin Amash? Do you think he's going to listen to
Amash has
Mike
TDS,
Lee?
so obviously
Do you think he's going to listen to, I'm just saying, do you think he's going to listen to these people who represent 7% or less of the Republican Party? Or do you think he's going to listen to the neocon Republicans that are deeply entrenched, that are the people that make or break his campaign at the end of the day, the 80 or more percent of the national Republican Party, and pick the neocon warmonger, Israeli Zionist supporting hoe bag that sleeps around on her husband, okay? Or do you think that he's going to pick the young, exciting, like freedom guy, young Indian guy who represents less than 7% of the Republican Party?
Neither. I don't think either is going to be the case. I don't think he's going to choose Haley because I think he'll consider that to be some sort of concession because right now he needs to.
Why would it be a concession?
Because he needs to beat Haley.
But he's going to beat Haley.
He's going to beat Haley.
But that will unless you think that if him making her his VP would be like him like exercising dominance over her even more. I don't think he's going to do it because I think it's going to take away from his win. I think it's going to be Kristi Noem or Elise Stefanik.
It won't be either of those people. I'm telling you right now.
Rumors of George Santos, and I think that would be hilarious.
I'm telling you right now.
Nikki Haley has 20-1 odds to be the VP right now,
which is stupid to me because at the end of the day, listen to me. This is an at the end of the day last moment thought for Josh before we start clearing off the show here. Okay. At the end of the day, Trump knows he needs the swamp. He can't win without the swamp. Okay. He needs the swamp. And when he gets into office, he's going to continue to fill the swamp. And guess who the swamp wants right now? The swamp wants Nikki Haley. Okay. But they can't get all the vote. Listen, they can't get all the voters on board for Nikki Haley. They can get a lot of the voters on board for Nikki Haley.
The swamp.
Listen,
wants
let me finish,
Haley.
Toad. Shut the fuck up. Trump. See, I told you I'd get on him too. Just let me finish this. This is my string of consciousness moment. Okay. At some point, they're going to come to Trump and say, "Hey, Ronna McDaniel or somebody is going to come to Trump and say, listen, Trump. Haley's got a lot of support. You can beat her. That's fine. But if you want to beat Biden, your vice presidential candidate is going to have to be Nikki Haley." And Trump's going to be like, let's do it. We got to beat Biden. We got to take our country back from the you know what I mean? Like, this is what he's going to do. I promise you that if it doesn't happen, I will bet you $1 million the conversation happens, period. And it's going to be the biggest selling point for Trump is we're going to win. We're going to do so much winning that you can't even believe it.
He's obviously about winning, but the problem I have with that is that the establishment is pushing Nikki Haley so hard, or has been, because they want her to defeat Trump. They want Trump gone in any way possible. So I don't think that they're going to care that much about her being his VP. I think they'll be fine with like one of those other pseudo establishment VP options that he has there. He'll put one of them in there, and then they're going to do everything they can to make this like the 2020 election again and push Biden through again over Trump. I think that's what's going to happen.
I think I think you're right that conversation will happen, but I don't think Trump will be like, "Oh yeah, I need Nikki to win." I think Trump's the type of guy to be like, "I don't need her to win. I'm gonna beat Biden anyway."
He doesn't need anybody.
Who cares? I beat him last time.
You're wrong.
Right.
You're wrong, dude. I'm telling you.
They just rigged it against me.
I'll guarantee you.
I think you're wrong.
Listen. I'll tell you, at the top of the fucking list right now, sitting at the top of the who should be Trump VP list, is Nikki Haley. I guarantee it.
I'm following the betting odds, and that's not even close to the case.
Yeah. Vegas totally likes to win money, bro. You know what I mean?
They do. They do.
Yeah,
They're the ones
exactly.
that have like tons of money at stake on these odds.
Anyways,
But
we're getting to the end of this thing.
They're not
Adam
just gonna
says
throw money away.
Adam says Bud Light just gave Shane Gillis a sponsorship. Shit beers back on the menu, boys. Back on the menu.
Shane Gillis, I'm seeing him on the 23rd. If I am not forced to go to the fucking California bullshit, I'll be seeing Shane Gillis.
He's the funniest. He's the funniest motherfucker in America. There's no doubt. Shane, if you're watching the show, quit being gay. Come on the show.
Oh yeah, and I'm seeing Ari tomorrow night.
I know you got.
Hell yeah.
I know you got long nights of making grilled cheese overnight, but we can find this time to bring you on the show. We're all very proud that you beat Down syndrome. It's hard to do.
Yeah,
It's not an easy thing to do. But you should definitely come on the show.
I
We'd
still
love to have
haven't
you on the
beaten it.
Now there's going to be allegations of him being a woman now that he has a Bud Light sponsorship.
Anyways, Toad, where can people find you, support you, listen to you, all those good things? What's your presidential campaign website, buddy?
TowerGangPod.com is where you can go for not my campaign, because I don't have a campaign. We can say that that's my campaign website because I'm campaigning on shit posting. So you can find me at the Tower Gang Pod, wherever you can find podcasts, and we're not nuked yet. So that is the most offensive comedy podcast on the planet, Tower Gang. We go live at 9:11 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday, and you can find me at Tower Gang Toad on Twitter. I do, of course, a bunch of shit posting, as you mentioned, and I also am the host of Better Off Dead, which is my suicidal sports betting show.
So funny thing. I woke up a little hungover on Saturday. Was it Saturday morning? And I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and Toad was out there making a podcast on his phone outside, doing the sports and talking about sports and like the betting lines on sports and stuff. And dude, for as autistic as he is in like the comedy podcast, dude, he was dead on this shit. It was so good. It was like deadpan. I was like, man, he's actually really good at this. Like very, very good. I was very surprised. I
lost
it was like a proud dad moment.
that day.
Yeah. I didn't say you were good at making bets. I said you were good at doing the podcast. Don't whatever Toad tells you to bet the opposite.
Jim Cramer.
Yeah, he's definitely Jim Cramer of the sports betting world, dude. Okay. We love you to death. Please don't kill yourself, Toad. You're amazing. You're a good friend.
I'll try not to. Georgia State better have covered for me tonight, though. I don't know if they did.
I appreciate our friendship very much. You know that, even if Popo thinks you're gay or whatever.
we're both gay. You got sick actually because you got AIDS from being at the Airbnb with us.
Yeah, that's a very good possibility. I probably could have caught some kind of airborne sexual disease from one of you guys there.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be patient zero for a new airborne form of AIDS, it's going to be a Tower Gang
Tower Gang Airbnb. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're taking your chances.
Well, Toad, I love you to death, man. Thanks so much for coming on, dude. We will
will
catch you soon. I'll see you on the campaign trail. Don't go to California and pay money to debate those guys. Fuck them, dude.
I agree. I tell my co-host that though.
I do have to say that Samuel Tweed threw a $5 super chat. He actually flew to Georgia for that from Washington State. I just want everybody to be clear that this dude is one of the coolest, realest motherfuckers.
Yeah, him and that Matt dude who drove from Missouri. They're fucking insane,
him too.
Dude. They're lunatics.
But driving from Missouri probably wasn't as. I guess it probably was pretty far. That's like two states away. It's not that far.
Yeah.
Only two states away, I think.
10-hour drive, probably.
Yeah, but Samuel flew all the way in from Washington. He said, don't listen to that shit. Don't look it up. It has subliminal messages that'll make you drink Folger coffee. He's talking about the manifesto of John Mon. It's too late. I already watched it.
John Mons?
John Moan. John Moan.
Oh.
The head and the bad guy.
Yeah, Justin Moan. Totally a real name, by the way. Not a stage name for porn.
Yeah. I want to say that I've already watched it, and I was already drinking Folgers coffee prior to that, dude. So I'm real gay about coffee. It's funny because I actually don't like coffee. I like coffee flavored sugar milk. You've seen how much creamer
I drink
put in
better
my
coffee than that, man. Fox and Sons, they've sponsored us. They gave me a Christmas card. Yeah, drink that shit.
Well, my buddy Webster, Brown Water Squid from Twitter, if you want to follow him, he's great. He sent me some good ass like libertarian Florida coffee from a place called Stocking Mill Coffee.
Hell yeah!
And man, it's fucking good, dude. We opened a dark roast. I'm not gonna remember the actual name of it right now, but we opened a dark roast and grinded it and French pressed it, dude, and it was stellar coffee, some of the best coffee I've ever had. He swears by it, says the best coffee in Florida. I have to agree with him so far. Toad, I love you to death, man. I'll catch you later.
You too. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys. Everyone go follow Toad. If you don't follow Toad,
Oh,
sorry, I muted me and Ryan.
okay.
What I was saying, if you don't follow Toad, go check out Toad. I'm sure most of the people who watch the show already follow Toad. If you don't, he's great. He's my friend. I love Toad to death. He's hilarious. He's a real cool guy in real life too. Just same as he is online. Ryan, you got anything before we take off?
First of all, I'm amazed that you managed to repeat that almost word for word.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at BulldogGamer28. I'm gonna try starting a new thing. Question of the day. Leave a comment of who do you think Trump will pick for his VP, and then in your perfect world, who would be his VP? Go nuts.
Yeah, that's gay, but I like that you're trying something new.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Drive engagement. We're on the uptick. I'm trying to skyrocket this.
Oh, I'd like to get my Popo follow back, dude. That'd be very nice of you, Pulp. I'd appreciate it, dude. Every time I go to because the Popo just pops up on my shit. I've been following you for fucking years now. Every time I pop up on Popo, I'm like, this motherfucker don't follow me anymore. What the fuck? And so I'd like to get that follow back. I'd appreciate that. I am gay, but he's also gay. But like he's like the cool gay, not like Funko Pop collecting gay or ATF gay. He's like cool gay. You know what I mean? I stole that from him, by the way, when he was on my show. No, so we'll have another show for you on Tuesday, hopefully, like I was saying, but I'll be flying back from Timcast Tuesday morning. So if we don't get a show on Tuesday, we'll definitely have on Thursday, hopefully Tuesday. Stocking milk coffee is another thing I was talking about during the quiet moment there. My friend Webster, Brown Water Squid on Twitter. If you don't follow him, go check him out. He sent me some stocking milk coffee from Florida, Libertarian Coffee Roasters. Some of the very best coffee I've ever had in my life. Check them out. They don't sponsor us or anything, but it was just really good coffee.
See if they would.
Yeah, I used to have a coffee sponsorship, some really good Italian coffee back in the day. But I will see you guys on Tuesday or Thursday, if nothing else. Love you to death. Until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Have to explain the lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just landed in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just landed in Minecraft. Well, Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just landed in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Good, nothing I mean, you know it. No product theaters, get so close to COVID. Holy shit, I think I'm a poet.